To understand why the Z9 II matters, you need to understand where Nikon came from. For decades, Nikon was known for its precision, its durability, and its craftsmanship. Its F-series cameras, from the F3 to the F6, were tools trusted by photojournalists, explorers, and artists alike. These were cameras built for the real world, for heat, rain, snow, and history itself. They captured wars, world records, and quiet human stories. They defined the look of 20th century photography. But then the world changed. Digital took over. Mirrorless cameras appeared, promising smaller bodies, faster systems, and silent performance. For a while, Nikon hesitated. It refined, observed, and waited, studying how this new era would unfold. Some said it was too late. Others said the brand was fading. Then came the Z system, and everything started to shift. The moment everything changed. When Nikon launched the Z9, it wasn't just entering a competition. It was reclaiming a legacy. The Z9 broke rules by eliminating the mechanical shutter completely. That was bold, even risky, but worked. The camera proved that an entirely electronic shutter could be fast, reliable, and completely silent, while delivering uncompromised image quality. It was a move that showed Nikon wasn't afraid to lead again. Profissionals notiça. Wildlife photographers, sports shooters, and filmmakers, people who needed reliability above all else, adopted it quickly. The Z9 became a benchmark, a camera that could do almost everything, anywhere, anytime. But Nikon didn't stop there. It listened. It learned. And now, with the Z9 II, it's ready to go even further. The philosophy behind the upgrade. The Z9 II isn't just a technical refresh. It's a reflection of Nikon's evolving philosophy. In an industry obsessed with specs, Nikon has always aimed for something deeper: balance. A camera is not defined by how many megapixels it has. It's defined by how it feels when you use it, by how it reacts when a moment unfolds faster than you can think, by how it makes you trust it. That's the philosophy shaping the Z9 II, a camera that's expected to bring more speed, more intelligence, and more emotional connection between the photographer and their craft. Every upgrade, every adjustment exists for a reason. Nikon isn't chasing numbers. It's chasing experience, carrying the weight of expectation. The challenge for Nikon is enormous. How do you follow up a camera that already did almost everything right? How do you make a sequel to something that defined an entire generation of mirrorless power? The Z9 II has to live up to the reputation of a legend, and somehow surpass it. It's expected to redefine performance in a world where every millisecond counts. From the rumored 61-megapixel sensor to the next-generation dual-speed processing engine, every leak and whisper in the industry points to one thing: Nikon is preparing to set a new standard again. But more than that, Nikon is preparing to make photographers feel something again. From DSLR roots to mirrorless mastery, the Z9 II isn't just another chapter. It's the conclusion of a transformation that started years ago. When Nikon moved from its DSLR roots to the mirrorless world, it didn't want to just shrink cameras and call it innovation. It wanted to rethink what a camera could be when freed from old limitations. The Z series was that rethinking, and the Z9 was its proof. No mechanical shutter. No compromises in image quality. It was a DSLR reborn for the digital age. Now, the Z9 II stands as the culmination of that journey. The point where Nikon fully steps into the future, not as a follower, but as a leader. The meaning of progress. Every piece of technology follows a pattern. At first, innovation shocks. Then it matures. Then it refines. The Z9 was Nikon's shock, a bold leap. The Z9 II is Nikon's refinement, a masterpiece in evolution. Rumors suggest everything from a new stacked CMOS sensor with faster readout speeds to improvements in dynamic range, low-light sensitivity, and autofocus prediction. But the heart of it isn't just about being faster or sharper. It's about feeling seamless. The kind of camera that disappears between you and your subject, where you stop thinking about the gear and start focusing only on the moment. That's what progress means to Nikon. Not change for the sake of change, but evolution with purpose. The challenge of the modern era. Photography today is faster than ever. News breaks in seconds. Sports happen in milliseconds. Wildlife doesn't wait. A professional camera has to be more than powerful. It has to be intuitive. It must anticipate motion, light, and emotion before you even press the shutter. The Z9 II is expected to do exactly that. Its rumored new autofocus system goes beyond recognition. It predicts. It doesn't just find a subject. It understands how that subject will move. A bird in flight, a sprinter mid-stride, a car sliding through a turn. Every motion tracked with precision, every detail frozen in time. That's the kind of intelligence Nikon is building into the future. Listening to the community. One thing Nikon has learned in recent years is the power of listening. The Z9 became what it was because Nikon paid attention to its users, professionals in the field who knew exactly what worked and what didn't. Firmware updates after launch added entirely new features, improved autofocus, advanced video options, better menus, and more stability. Those updates kept the camera alive, relevant, and fresh, even years after its release. The Z9 II is born from that same spirit. It's built not just from innovation, but from collaboration. From every wildlife shooter who pushed the Z9 to its limits. From every filmmaker who demanded more flexibility. From every photographer who asked for faster performance without losing simplicity. That's what makes this release so different. It's not Nikon dictating to its users. It's Nikon building with them. Innovation with purpose. When a brand like Nikon makes a new flagship, it knows every decision will be studied, compared, and debated. Every spec will be measured against Sony, Canon, and Panasonic. But Nikon has never been about specs alone. Its focus has always been on trust. You don't buy a Nikon flagship because it's trendy. You buy it because you know it won't let you down in the cold, in the rain, in the chaos of the real world. The Z9 II follows that philosophy, innovation with purpose. Every improvement is designed to serve something practical, something human. Faster readout isn't just a technical number. It's what allows you to capture a hawk's wing mid-flap without distortion. Better low-light handling isn't just ISO flexibility. It's what lets you preserve a mood, a glow, a truth in darkness. Sharper autofocus isn't just marketing. It's the difference between a missed moment and a masterpiece. The spirit of reliability. If there's one word that defines Nikon's legacy, it's reliability. You could drop an old Nikon F3 on concrete, pick it up, and keep shooting. That same spirit lives in the Z9 II. Built like a tank, sealed against the elements, designed for years of use. This camera isn't meant to be babied. It's meant to be used, tested, trusted. The integrated vertical grip stays, providing balance for heavy telephoto lenses and long hours of fieldwork. And yet, early whispers suggest the body will be lighter, the ergonomics more refined. Subtle changes that make a big difference for professionals who shoot all day. Because in the end, comfort is part of performance too. A future built on feedback. The Z9 II represents more than Nikon's technological advancement. It represents its maturity in the mirrorless era. The company that once lagged behind in innovation is now setting the pace again. By combining professional feedback with bold engineering, Nikon is proving that its future isn't about catching up. It's about leading with purpose. Every firmware improvement, every ergonomic tweak, every new feature reflects that philosophy. If it doesn't make your shooting experience better, it doesn't belong. That's how Nikon builds trust. One frame, one experience at a time. Beyond competition. Yes, Sony and Canon will have their own flagships. And yes, Panasonic and Fujifilm will continue to push boundaries in their own ways. But the Z9 II isn't here to compete for attention. It's here to define a feeling. That moment when everything clicks, when technology and creativity align perfectly. That's the magic Nikon is chasing. Not just dominance in numbers, but dominance in experience. Because when a camera feels invisible, when it becomes an extension of your eye and your instinct, that's when true creativity begins, setting the stage for the next era. The release of the Z9 II marks something bigger than a product launch. It marks Nikon's confidence, the kind of confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. For years, Nikon was seen as the steady one, reliable, traditional. Now it's both traditional and daring, respecting its past while reshaping its future. The Z9 II is a symbol of that transformation. It shows that Nikon's future is not about leaving history behind. It's about bringing it forward, reimagined for today's creators. Conclusion of Section 1. The Nikon Z9 II represents more than an upgrade. It represents the next stage in Nikon's evolution, a camera that carries the weight of its history and the vision of its future. From the iconic F-series to the revolutionary Z9, every Nikon camera has told a story of persistence, innovation, and artistry. And now, the Z9 II continues that story, one that blends tradition with technology, emotion with precision. In this camera, Nikon is not just refining a product. It's redefining what it means to create. Because at the end of the day, cameras are not just machines that capture light. They are tools that capture life. And Nikon's story has always been about keeping that light alive. The Z9 II is not here to follow. It's here to remind a world that true innovation isn't about being first. It's about being timeless. At the core of the Z9 II lies Nikon's next-generation stacked CMOS sensor. Faster, sharper, and more dynamic than anything it has ever created. Rumors point to a 61-megapixel resolution, placing it among the highest in the world of full-frame cameras. But resolution is not the story here. It's what that resolution does that matters. Every pixel carries more depth, more tone, more truth. Every frame holds a new level of detail that invites you to zoom, crop, and explore without losing clarity. For professionals, it means freedom. For artists, it means possibility. But this power would mean nothing without speed. And Nikon knows that. That's why the Z9 II is powered by a dual processing engine, a fusion of speed and intelligence that allows the camera to think faster than the moment itself. Autofocus calculations, exposure readings, color balance, real-time subject recognition, all processed in milliseconds. Every shot, instant. Every frame, intentional. Autofocus that thinks ahead. In photography, milliseconds define everything. A blink, a jump, a heartbeat, gone before you realize it. The original Z9 introduced deep learning autofocus, capable of recognizing eyes, faces, animals, vehicles, even aircraft. It was fast. It was accurate. It was intelligent. The Z9 II takes that foundation and builds something even more remarkable. This isn't just a focus system that tracks subjects. It anticipates them. Using a refined algorithm and enhanced sensor readout, the camera doesn't just follow motion. It predicts it. It studies patterns, movement speed, and direction, adjusting before the subject even changes position. A bird lifting off the ground. A racing car cutting through a curve. An athlete twisting midair. All perfectly in focus, because the camera already knows what's coming next. That's not just autofocus. That's foresight. For photographers in the wild, on the sidelines, or on the stage, it means confidence. Confidence that every frame will land exactly as intended. Speed without limits. The Z9 II redefines what fast means in photography. It's not just about burst rates. It's about consistency, capturing power without compromise. With a new processor architecture and faster memory pipelines, early tests suggest the Z9 II can shoot up to 30 raw frames per second, and even higher in JPEG mode. All of it blackout-free. That means no flicker, no hesitation, no delay between what you see and what's actually happening. You see real life, and you capture it in real time. And while speed matters most for action shooters, its value extends beyond that. Speed is what allows light to be captured at its most fleeting. It's what lets emotion linger just long enough to become memory. Every millisecond Nikon saves, it gives back to creativity.